Hi everyone, myself Dr. M. Lakshmi Prasad, working as an associate professor in the Department of Data Science in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video, I'm going to discuss about how we're going to create the data visualization with low-cost tools. So normally, if you're going to see the data, then how it should be. So normally, the data will be very raw data, and then it should be very hard to use. So it should be difficult to extracting the needs according to the application should be very difficult. So for that, how we're going to do that. So normally the pretty data is not necessarily better one. So but if I'm going to consider the world population, so what will happen to see that is uh, the growth rate is going on increasing, and then the data looks like very pretty, but it is not that much better necessarily for the needs of the any kind of application. So how we're going to highlight, so what is the important thing we have to be know. Uh, Suppose normally if I'm going to take an application like the number of children, so uh, between 3 years and 4 years old students who are going to be enrolled in preschool by race and then authenticity, I want to note it. So for that normally I have to show, so I'm going to show this kind of people in x-axis, and then our number of peoples will be on y-axis, and normally I'm going to show this representation through uh, bar chart here. So if I'm going to represent this, then it should be uh, difficult to understand. So for that, I have to make some authenticity who are going to be enrolled in preschool, and one number of students are now going to be enrolled in preschool by making use of some notations like yellow is for not enrolled and blue is for pre-enrolled school students. Like this I want to show, so that so many of the people can able to understand what should be it is. So, what is the main purpose of the visualization we're going to see now? So, first of all, we have to be explore the data. So, for that, clearly a trend level is going to be identified, or maybe one here like this. I have to be sure. So, the exploring the data is very important. That should be the first one. And so, once you are going to be formatting it, so for decision making we have to be take. So once the data is to be done from like so once the data is going to be explored, so then what should be that we have to be go for the decision making here. So based on the decision making, so we have to be take it out, uh, presenting the neutral case, or it may be some other information based on the decision have to be take it out. So decision making is very important one. And next one is that, so are you telling a story like this or no? So that is not the main task of visualization. So by seeing this graph, and also have to be clearly present what the data it is and how much accurate it is, that and all going to be explained. So not noting it, telling a story is not suggestible one. Suppose if I'm going to see this 2017 budget, so I want to show it. So I'm not going to be tell any kind of story on this kind of situations. And then, so what are the principles we are going to be follow for communicating through the data? So the very first thing is that, so define what the question you are answering. So define what question you are going to be answered. So is organization improving on this metric, and how to do this demographic compared to last year, and all these results are unusual or not, we have to be find it out, right? So this is the first principle what we are going to be follow. So define, so what question you are going to be answering. And next one is that use the accurate data. So accurate data means, so most of the time, so 98% of all facts of the internet are completely accurate. So through the source of internet here. So if I'm going to extracting the data from the internet, so most of the things, so not 100%, but it should be around 98.7% of the facts is going to be accurate one, but we should not pull that data out from the internet without being sure of the source here. So then we have to include the source in visualization and don't combine the data from different sources in the data set. So these are the principles what we have to be one of the principles. So use the accurate data. So remaining some 1.3%, it should be we have to be find out whether it is accurate or not. So, and third principle, what we are going to follow here is that experiment with the ways to answer. So, for that, so what kind of visualization it is, and so over what time period, and graphing pure numbers versus the percentage versus percentage. So, like this, we have to be very clear with the experimentation ways of answering. Okay, so based on the data, we can able to visualize it. So once the data is going to be visualized, so what kind of visualization? Whether it may be a bar chart, or it may be a line chart, or it may be a pie diagram. So what kind of visualization is going to be best suited for the any kind of application? We have to be find it out. So once this visualization done, then we have to see over the what period, time period, and then the comparing is to be done. And next one, so go with the cognitive research. So for that, so creating a hierarchical chart. So by what is the most easily and accurately understood. So creating a hierarchical chart is also be a very good principles. So while creating the data visualization and which is the most easily and accurate to understand. So like the position along the scale, like on the length, then slope or direction, angle, curvature, volume, and area. So these are the some of the hierarchical symbols are going to be used in hierarchical chart. So which is going to be make the cognitive research here. And next one should be faithfully represent your data. So for faithfully representing the data, so treat your axis with respect. So the axis is going to be very clear. Suppose if I'm going to see this here, so I'm going to represent years on x-axis and the number of values on y-axis. So the difference between each and every value should be 1 here, but here the difference should be each and every value should be difference of 5 here and 1. So by making this between 1 and 5, so how the curve looks, it is going to be looks very nice when compared to the difference of 5 here. So it almost looks like a straight line, linear, not linear, it should looks like a almost a straight line. Suppose if I'm going to increase this difference is 10, then almost it looks like a straight line. So instead of representing this, it is the better way of representing. So faithfully how to represent the data. So that means the treating of axis with respect to data is also be considered. So that is the fifth principle of data visualization. And next one is that the tailoring is that to your audience. So for that, so I can able to use some of those paintings or brushes like this, so that we can able to clearly show the audience the data what it is exactly. So the tailoring it to the audience is the other kind of principle. And next one, so make it as simple as possible. So for that, normally instead of representing the whole content in a single item, it should be looks very clumsy here. So in order to avoid that, so all the time the graph what we are representing, it should be very clear one. Suppose so both charts will contain same information, but seconds is the far easier to read. So that means that so here I'm representing this in the form of pie diagram, and same thing I can also be elaborate in 2007 year. So this is the estimate of 2000 and this should be the estimate of 2007. So I want to comparing this both the 2 years. So by seeing this, so is it how can able to identify it should be 7%, it is 8%, and individual income tax is 45, it should be 50, and the corporation income tax 10 here, it should be 11 here, and it should be 10, and the social insurance payments is 37%, here it is 32%. So for this, what I am going to say, so if this difference is made not that much clearly comparable. So for the same thing, I am going to represent in the form of bar diagrams. So individual income taxes. So I'm going in 2000 this, and this should be the 2007. So by seeing this, the number of the taxes, how much will be, by seeing this graph, it should be easily identified. So for individual income tax, the amounts will be in billions of dollars, it should be high. So that means in 2007 it should be high, and here also 2007, and then the corporate income tax is also high, and then excise tax also going to be high. So like this, instead of representing this bar diagram, so if I'm going to represent through bar chart, so the comparison should be very easy to clear and easy to understand for the audience. And next one is that remove everything you can. So what is the unnecessary thing we are going to represent, try to remove it so that the visualization looks very pretty, and then undescripted interesting values is going to be eliminated so that it should be made clear for the audience as well. Suppose here I'm going to show the dot by dot values for year wise. So if I'm going to remove this all these things, so how the graphs looks like this one. So it is the better way so for presenting this kind of visualization. So remove everything. So whatever possible you can able to remove it. And next one, the choosing the visualization for your purpose. So what visualization is going to be used for that, what purpose we are going to be do it. So for that, so firstly we are able to take the simple numbers, like simple numbers is going to be suggestible for making your visualization. And next one, so some other kind of visualization will be line chart. So line chart, so it should be likely your best choice to show a trend, especially over the time. Suppose if I'm going, the data is going to be varied with respect to time. So at that time, so I can able to go for the line chart. Okay. So normally this line chart, so most of the cases in cricket matches, it is going to show. So the number of 10, 20, 30, 40, over 50 overs. So how this India is going to be scored with respect to time and then value. Similarly, Australia like this. So I can able to show the difference. The data which is going to vary with respect to time is only going for the line chart. And the bar chart is the thing. So it is also going to show the representation of communicating between two independent variables. And so these bar charts will be of different types like simple bar, multiple bar, composite bar, like this. So simple bar, so I can able to show one-to-one relationship. Multiple bar, where I can able to show as a particular variable with the different values. And composite bar, which should be of different. The bar is going to be divided into different compositions. So the diagram what I'm showing here should be the composite. So based on this, this mainly this kind of charts is going to be used. So according to the application, you have to choose it first of all. So is the simple bar is the best one according to application, or if I'm going to compare two variables at a time, then I have to go for the multiple bar. Suppose if I'm going to represent the more than three independent variables at a time, so at the time I have to make use of composite bar. So that means that within the bar itself, I can able to divide the data into different compositions. And next one is just pie chart. So pie chart means that use where the circle is going to be divided into different sectors per use of protractor. So normally this one is going to be used the graphical way to show more than three or more percentages at a time. Suppose if I'm going to represent the percentage wise data representation, then I have to go for the pie diagram. So that too, we should not take more number of variables. You can able to take only limited number of variables so that the percentage should be looks very clear and how much it is we can able to clearly tell to the audience as well. And the table is the thing which is should be under kind of representing. So normally the data what I'm going to get should be the raw data. So the data what I'm going to get should be the raw data from the different sources. From the raw data, so we have to be construct in the form of a table, so that we can able to construct different types of graphs like bar chart, line graph, and then like pictogram. So like this, I can able to show it. So the table also going to be plays a very important role for visualizing the data. And next one is the plots. So plots is also under kind of data visualization. Normally you can able to call it as bubble plots or you can able to call it as the scatter plots. So which can be effectively slows the trend of plot on different points. So normally the scatter plot is going to be show only the dots of the or unable to show in the form of bubbles along the x-axis and y-axis for any kind of application. So it should be the effective trending data, trending data items or trending set of items. So with respect to points, you can able to show through the plots like scatter and the bubble plot. And maps is the other kind of powerful way of representing the data geographically. And so, what should be more about the interesting formats here is that so here nifty data visualization that should be unfamiliar to most. It should be very unlikely to have to achieve the goals like communicating your point to the data. So these are the some of the different types of visualizations which should be through multiple bar and then 3D and then pictogram like this. So our next one is that will Excel work for your needs here? So for that Microsoft Excel is the thing. So normally you can make use of this. From this Microsoft Excel, we can able to show this in different types of graphs that should be obtained in Microsoft Excel easily. So normally art programming nowadays, the art programming is the thing. Which is going to be present the different types of charts through the programming code. So next one, so the charts what I'm going to design that should be highly customizable. So nearly any kind of static chart in any format is possible. So if you know how to find it. So that means that so it should be highly customizable according to that. So if I'm going to change the values that simultaneously, the graphs are going to be changed simultaneously. So that much flexibility is going to be there with the Excel for you. So we can able to construct different types of charts and then in Excel. So there should be the scatter plot is also newly added feature in Excel, and then box and whisker plots is also under kind of newly added feature, and bubble chart and then histogram. So these are the some of the new chart that is going to be incorporated in Excel. So previously we are going to have only the bar chart, line chart, pie chart only. So recently these type of charts also like a scatter plot. So we can able to along this we can able to show in the form of dots that should be scatter plot, and whisker and box plot is another kind of the thing, and then bubble chart also newly added chart here. Then histogram is the thing which is going to show the frequency distribution. So for this frequency distribution, so how this histogram is constructed means, first we have to be construct the histogram. So histogram means it should be something different with bar chart here. So where there should not be exist any kind of values here, not any kind of space between the rectangle bars. So for that, what I'm going to do. So once the histogram is done, so by joining the midpoints, all this we can able to smooth curve what we call as a frequency polygon. If I'm going to join all the midpoints of the graph, then it should be frequency curve. So when would you go beyond Excel means? So you want to do only one basic chart, and you can able to do the fair amount of exploration of data over the time, and your data is coming from different sources, and so you want to continuously refresh online visualization, and you want the user to be able to easily interact on visualizations online as well. So these are the extra things that should be go beyond the Excel thing. So next one is that data visualization specialist. So for the data visualization, for making specialist, some of the predefined tools are that are available. So that thing is that infogram. So infogram is the reasonable one, which should be able to create good looking charts based on the 30 plus chart templates. So it should be free to publish publicly online, and so this is the best way infogram. So we can able to bring the charts or data visualization. So this is one of the data specialist tool. And table. So table is also another kind of tool what we are going to have. We are going able to construct different types of data visualization, and so here through table you can able to explore the data, and then you can also create the good looking charts, and then you can also the shade charts and dashboards online, so free for one data source. So otherwise you can also be installed in Windows and Mac as well. So the table has going to have a lot of functionality which is going to allow or create a robust shade dashboards. So for this, uh, so the table is going to be the better one, which is going to be have more functionalities in the dashboards, and then can also going to create the extra effects on the visualization. And Microsoft Power BI is another kind of specialist tool what we're going to have for representing the data. And here the Power BI. So normally this Power BI should be online cloud tool, and it should be easily comparable to the JBLA and free of data visualization tab use. So through this Microsoft Power BI is the thing which is going to be an online cloud tool, so which can easily access the data which is going to have over the internet, and it should be also the free for the data visualization tab use. So the Power BI also going to be provide a robust shared dashboards as well. So where the Power BI can able to show the 3D view of the line chart, and then bar chart, and then 3D view box and whisker plot, some other like this. We can have going to have different types of data visualizations. And should also be considered that there should be a number of comparable tools as well. So Plotly, Periscope, Quill View, and many more. So these are the other type of specialist tools that are available for representing this data visualization. And maps are also another kind of the tool that are available, so which is going to be constructed through infogram. So that is also the good thing. So in the map itself we can able to locate where this different types of mm, materials that are available. So maps also going to be one of the view for data visualization. So what are the other options we're going to have? This means, so we're going to have the statistical coding languages. So nowadays this one is going to be used. So coding languages mainly go for like Python or and Stata or SPSS. So normally these code typing languages are going to be used for data visualization. So this should be the look of this R Studio. So here I'm going to write the code of that one, and then here I'm going to see the values of the variables, and this should be the output. And then if I'm going to show the bar chart, line chart, and pictorial graphical visualization something, then you have to see here. So like this, the R Studio is going to be created into 4 quadrants, and this is the first quadrant where I'm able to write the code, and this is the second quadrant, so where I'm able to see the values of variables, and this is the output of the corresponding code what I got after running this R code, and this is also another kind of output for the data visualization. Suppose if I want to see the data in the form of visualization like bar chart, whatever it is, so I got what should be the suitable visualization, I have to be find out, and then you have to be set it out. So these are the things what I discussed in this video. So these are the some of the different types of tools and techniques that are available for data visualization. So in this one, so initially I'm going to take, so what is the purpose of visualization? So we have to be carrying out exploring the data, or exploring the data properly, and then are you formatting it for the decision making or not, and then are you going to tell any kind of story for the any kind of applications of our data visualization, and then what are the 8 principles that are going to be used for communicating with the data is that, so define, so what question you are answering, and use the accurate data, and then you also be experiment with the ways to answer, and go with the cognitive research as well, and faithfully represent your data, and tailor it to your audience, and make it simple as possible, and remove everything you can. That is some of the basic principles you are going to follow for data visualization. And for choosing the visualization for your purpose, so make the simple numbers, and go for the line charts, or what is the suitable one. So if the data is going to be vary with the chart time, then you have to go for line chart, and then bar charts also going to have different type of the things. So based on the what type, whether it may be a simple bar or multiple or composite bar, I have to identify. And percentage data, if I want to show, then I have to go for the pie chart. And table is the thing which should be the foundation for the view, bar chart, pie chart, and the line chart as well. And the plots, so also going to be used for effectively showing the trending the data, and maps is another kind of visualization. So will Excel. So Excel is the tool normally initially is going to have to show the different types of visualization, and then you have to be do customizable, and many types of charts also going to be used here. So the data visualization specialist tools what we are going to have infogram. So infogram is the new tool that is going to make data visualization, and the table A is the other kind of the tool that is available for nowadays, and so many kind of functionalities also going to be available in table A. And the Power BI is the other kind of data visualization tool. So it should be a online cloud tool which is going to make data visualization, and Power BI and maps. And this is the statistical coding language what we're going to have for representing and for data visualization like Python or Santa SPSS like this. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.